One.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It is another edition of the Mizzle Dub Show. I'm Dub, he's Mizzle, and hence by the shirt. That really does fit him to a T. You can thank my sister-in-law for giving him that Christmas gift. But yeah, as you can see, he has a whole lot of reasons to be smiling because for him, it's Victory Monday. And as for me, well, bottoms up. I'm going to take a drink because this team is making me drink.
Welcome, people. How you doing, brother? Besides how sports going? How's everything going, man?
For the most part, good. Well, you'll understand my feelings in a few minutes, but
oh yeah, we'll definitely. I know we're definitely
gonna quick recap. Oh yeah. First, quick recap. First off, we owe you guys an apology because a couple of weeks ago we were actually live together in person, but when you come down for a wedding and then you run into people you haven't seen in years, it just was one big family reunion. So we apologize because we were going to do some shows together side by side, but it did not happen. But that's what happens when you're around family. But nonetheless, last we talked to you, we were talking about a preview of the fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. We both thought Fury would win the fight. And while it was a very entertaining fight, Deontay Wilder actually knocked down Fury twice in round 4. Yeah. It was just too much Tyson Fury, and we did what Tyson Fury thought he would do. He would stop Deontay Wilder again, and thus in another trilogy in the history of heavyweight boxing. However, with that said, it seems like Deontay Wilder still does not want to give Tyson Fury his due. I don't know why. Just Deontay Wilder is a sore loser, but some would say that Fury beat Wilder all 3 times they fought.
Yeah,
and you really can make. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Breaking news on the show. Unfortunately for the Packers, Davante Adams, one of the best receivers in football, is on the reserve COVID-19 list. So that will be a
That means I got to bench him this week.
You and me both. Yes, we get live breaking news on this show, folks. But yes, unfortunately, Davante Adams.
I guess this show won't be for the children.
But he's been placed on the COVID-19 list, which we were eventually going to get to this game because this is a heck of a game for Thursday night between the Cardinals and the Packers.
Wow.
We'll touch on that in a few minutes, but back to the Wilder Fury scenario. I mean, what more can you say? What more does Tyson Fury have to prove that he is perhaps the best lineal heavyweight in this division, even though you do have Alexander Usyk, who upset Anthony Joshua, and of course that rematch is going to happen. Usyk fought a tremendous fight against Anthony Joshua. In your view, what more does Tyson Fury have to prove to get his just due?
Well, before I touch on Tyson Fury, I want to talk about Deontay Wilder first. First of all, before I talk about his poor sportness of a human being, this fight he actually boxed. He really was in there fighting with Fury. Unless the other fights, he was just trying to throw that one single bomb to try to drop him. This fight, he seemed like he did his study, and his trainer, he actually listened to his trainer instead of throwing his trainer under the bus. But here or there. But now the poor sport of a man. You've seen the video. I think everybody in America seen the video. Why do you not respect the man? And humbles the Tyson Fury. Even with all that negativity that Wilder was throwing at him, he still said, forget all that. It was a good fight. I beat you fair and square. You can't say nothing. This happened. I don't respect you. Dude, first your excuse was your equipment was too heavy. Then you threw your trainer under the bus. Now you come in and you fight a good fight where I didn't want to see you fight this fight, bro, because I knew you were going to get whooped or be trashed. But you showed me whatever your trainer was doing, you listened. You boxed, but after that, man, you just totally showed me why I can't rock with you, because you don't respect Own up. You got your ass whooped. Point blank period. Just man up.
Even Mike Tyson said, I got my ass kicked when he got his ass kicked.
Even and that's Mike the baddest Tyson man on the fucking planet.
Yes.
And I'm still don't want to fight Mike Tyson. And just a little snippet. I hope this Logan Paul or whatever them Paul brothers Mike Tyson fight ain't real. Because see, then I know this shit is all bullshit. Because the Paul brother ain't got no business stepping in the ring with the baddest man on the planet.
Even at age 50, even at age,
I don't give a
his
damn if Tyson was 75 years old. The nigga looked like he can still knock somebody out.
Well, heck, George Foreman is damn near 80, and I guarantee you, George Foreman still has punching power. but let George Foreman at dang near 80 years old hit you with his right hand and see if you go to sleep and see if you can withstand it. But I digress.
Anyway, but yeah, that's another subject. We just got to do a whole show on just boxing. And we got to get rough on that show.
Yes, we have to get rough.
We do a show on straight boxing.
We can get our two that we talked to in the box chat. We can get them on, and we just have a whole.
It's time to do one show with them two on. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
But to get back to the question you asked, because I know that we do this a lot. We ramble because this is what we do. We love it. But I believe Tyson Fury is just going to have to take out Joshua. I believe that's the only, and not to say, and that's not even saying that. Because Joshua got to get past Usyk again. So maybe though one of those two fights, if he goes in and takes out one of those two, he might get his due. But see, here's the thing. I don't care what the local media and all these national media say. These four eyes right here sees what Tyson Fury is doing. The man knows how to put his weight on you. He knows how to take a punch and fall down and get back up and still maintain his dominance. I.e., I'm going to refer to basketball, San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs can be down 27 points. Do they change anything? No. We're going to run the same offense. We're going to run the same defense. And guess what? It's going to work. We don't stay. That's what Fury does. So I think the only way he gets his due is he beats one of those two. And
that's a big if Joshua gets by Usyk, and even on that, Joshua fought brilliantly in that fight. He just ran into a better boxer.
Didn't that remind you of Tyson Fury? Didn't that remind you how Tyson Fury just stays the course? That I would love to see, because we all wanted the Wilder Joshua fight.
Yes,
but we knew what's his face was gonna get in there, and I was hoping he'd just take the money. Just take the money, bruh, and just let us get this fight, because this will be the better fight of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So now, while Fury handled his business,
yes,
we're getting the rematch.
Yes,
I still think Fury's gonna wait in the back, because I think that is gonna go into a trilogy, because it's still gonna be the best out of three.
You're talking about Usyk and Joshua.
Yes.
Okay.
If Joshua wins that fight.
Yes.
Now, if Usyk handles his business, which I think he is, because
he's the better boxer.
He's the better boxer. Thank you. Then we get Usyk and Fury.
To which, for most people that are not real fans of the fight game, to them, it'll be boring. But to us fans of the fight game, it's going to be like, ooh, now this is going to be a fight simply a strategy, because they both can box. So it's almost going to be like, okay, who's going to make the first mistake and who's going to capitalize on it, because they both can counter.
Yes.
They're both smart.
Yes.
And they both have tremendous head movement. The head movement
is that not boxing? Is that not?
That's boxing.
And then the terminology that this fight would be is that you will have a lot of telephone booth boxing, to where they're going to be in the center of the ring. They're going to be, it'll be a few rope moments, but I believe those two grown men are going to stand in front of that ring, and they're going to give us what boxing should have been getting a long time ago, a great quality fight. Oh my goodness.
If it ends up being Usyk and Fury, to me, it really will be the ultimate chess match, because it's like, okay, do I make this move here or do I make this move there?
Yeah.
If I make this move, what is he going to try to counter with?
Exactly.
And then also also while we were together, we saw the return of Mikey Garcia, and definitely the rust was there. and he ended up losing the fight in front of in a sense, a pro Mikey Garcia crowd in Fresno, California, which we tried so hard to want to be there live. It just didn't happen. But I guess the question would be, what is the next step for Mikey Garcia?
I don't know. I really don't know, because that was supposed to be a fight that he was supposed to win to get his, the step back into the right direction. I don't know. And the person, I can't remember who he fought, but that person came in with a lot of poise.
Yes.
And was like, you know what? I know your name. I know you're Mikey Garcia, but hey, I get paid just like you get paid. So that's a good question. I don't know where he falls into the rankings with his division. It's easy to fall behind in the boxing because you got. That's what I love about boxing is you have to stay winning. Nothing is handed to you. One fight can push you in the way back.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. I'm trying to find the person's name of who he just fought. Give me a second, but we'll get back to Mikey Garcia. But boy, Shakur Stevenson continues to show why. He's one of the best fighters.
Wait a minute.
Under 25.
Wait a minute. What did I say? I sent you the text message while we were watching it. The boy is Pretty Boy Floyd 2.0. He ain't Money Mayweather yet. He just Pretty Boy right now. Because number one, he doesn't get touched.
No, he doesn't.
He knows how to counter.
Yes, he does.
Now, just imagine if he learns the shoulder roll. I mean, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. But just imagine if he learns that technique that Floyd uses. I mean, he came in and said he was going to punish that man, and he punished that man. And even though Bud Crawford was playing coy, he was trying to be Switzerland, he knew that Shakur Stevenson was going to dominate that fight because Shakur Stevenson is a bad man.
He is that one. And just to hop back, it was Sandor Martin that scored the upset over Mikey Garcia back in Fresno.
And Martin is not no slouch either, though.
Oh, he's not.
We're going to sit there and talk about that. So yes, so Mikey Garcia probably thought he was going to come in and be Mikey Garcia, but he didn't know he was fighting somebody on his caliber level. But to get back to Shakur Stevenson, I'm glad that fight was on ESPN for the world to see instead of putting it on ESPN. I mean, I know Shakur Stevenson has been on ESPN. He's been on undercards, but for him to get this major fight right there and to take a belt, he told dude he was going to take it. He told him he was going to. I mean, yes, Shakur Stevenson was out of character because he normally doesn't talk like that.
No, not at all.
He does not even chess match or.
He is a very humble man.
Yes, he knows his skill. He knows he's good. He walks in the ring. He takes care of the business, and he just walked. But this fight, he needed to do that, and he did it. And now, I forgot the guy that's been ducking him, but now that Shakur Stevenson has that title,
can't duck him no more.
And duck him no more. Now that fight, if you can look that up and see who the guy I'm talking to, I think I might have sent you the article. I can't remember, but yeah, that fighter is a good fighter too, and that fight needs to happen. And yeah, and then so while we're sitting to talk, I guess we're doing boxing right now. So let's continue to talk about boxing. Let's talk about what's coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Oh boy!
And then now what's coming up in a couple of weeks. Then we're gonna talk about the fight that's coming up after that fight that's coming up in. We
got two big ones coming up.
I mean, if you're not a boxing fan, I'm sorry for you because this is what boxing needs right now. This is beautiful. We got Mr. Saul. Go ahead and say his another name.
Cinnamon.
Oh my goodness, Canelo Alvarez against Caleb Platt.
And if you have not seen the press conferences, there has been some jabbering. There has been some back and
forth. The first press conference, Canelo gave that boy a nice little hi-ya. If you didn't see it came quick. You might have missed it. But that's going to be a good fight because number one, Canelo is a smaller fighter, but that doesn't mean nothing because Canelo has already fought in his last fight a fighter that was bigger than him, and all he did was just go to work on that man.
Yes.
And then the last fight that Caleb fought, all he did was go to work. So this is what I'm talking about. I love when two fighters that are supposed to fight each other when they're jabbering, they take care of their business first in their other fights, and they come together, and you're about to get a showdown, because I'm telling you, this might be Canelo Alvarez's toughest opponent next to Floyd.
Well, not only that, you are unifying the super middleweight championship of the world.
So somebody is about to get a big ass check after this one. I mean, even though, because it's coming split even, because each of them have a belt that needs to unify. So there's no, I'm the champ, I take this amount of money, I'm the champ. No, it's split right down the middle. Whoever gets these belts, I'm telling you. And
well, as it stands, again, this is for the super middleweight championship of the world to unify it. Canelo currently has the WBO, the WBA, and the WBC super middleweight championship of the world. Caleb Plant has been the reigning IBF super middleweight champion for a long, long time.
Yes.
So one man has the chance to walk away with not one, not two, not three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four belts on that night.
Draped. Somebody gonna be sitting there draped, just like,
yeah.
And I am a big Saul fan. I love Canelo, and I said this, I was so confused when he fought Mayweather, but I knew that Mayweather was going to win that fight because it's Floyd Mayweather. But I said this, I said, if Canelo takes one speck of knowledge from that fight, because I always say it's proven, it's two things you're going to learn fighting Floyd Mayweather: how to fight, or you're going to not be able to box ever again in your career. You're going to be done. You're just going to go home, never be heard of again. Well, Canelo took his education very well, and you can see what's going on now.
He took a lot of notes on that night he fought Floyd.
Yes.
And he has indeed, as we always like to say, he has indeed harnessed his craft.
Yes.
Then the other fight, because the man's been wanting for a fight, he's been asking for a fight. Nobody wants to fight him, but God bless Showtime. God bless Showtime, Sean Porter.
Omaha.
I'll fight him. So indeed, Bud finally gets back in the ring. He will take on Showtime Sean Porter.
And that ain't going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy.
The dog.
Sean Porter is relentless.
Dog, and he will not, you would have to literally put him on his ass. Like, referee got to do this, because Sean Porter is going to be in Bud Crawford's chest. I think Bud, that southpaw ain't going to work as much as it helps Bud. But the thing about it, Bud can switch out of southpaw. But Porter is not no slouch. I will not come in there thinking that, okay, this is just going to be an easy fight because I'm Bud Crawford. I'll represent Omaha, this, that, and the third. I love both fighters. I'm just going to be a fan of boxing that day, because I think if Bud does not put him down by 5, it will go 12. And depending on how Porter comes into that fight, I'm praying for a draw, because nobody else wants to fight Bud. So I really want this shit to be.
He wants a trilogy.
You damn right. I mean, I don't want Bud to lose, because Bud is I got to go to my Stephen A. That's a bad man. Like, that's
a bad man.
I mean, we throw the title out there. I mean, okay, we say people are a bad man, but look at our watchers, our subscribers. Bud Crawford is that dude. Like, he is really. If you don't watch boxing, I just say, just turn on YouTube and just put in Bud Crawford and just watch it for like 2 minutes, and you will understand what this man is to boxing.
Bud Crawford was literally begging for a fight. He's saying, I am here. I am here. I am ready. Somebody please fight me.
What boxer has to beg to get competition? It's called Bud Crawford. Okay, because he, like I said, he's that dude. Like, no, you have never heard, like, people duck people, okay, but they're literally ducking Bud Crawford. And like my brother just said, God bless Showtime Porter. And I'm glad it's him, because he's a dog. He's gonna fight. And Lord, you guys will get a show after that fight. I guarantee you, me and Dub will be doing a show after that fight, because Okay, let's move on. Because I can talk about that fight all day.
Just one last thing as we backtrack back to the Sandor Martin, Mike Garcia fight. After the fight, there was some join going on between Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. And all we kept saying while we were watching that fight, all we kept saying was, "Damn it, Eddie Hearn, do your job, Eddie.
Do your damn.
Make the fight happen, Eddie. Please."
Like, I don't understand how we got to sit here when two people got to sit there and just make something like that to get attention. We know you guys want to fight. We want the fight. Give us the fight. Please give us the fight. Oh my God.
Now, with that said, if Devin Haney takes care of business.
Oh, that's right. He still has to take care of business first.
If he takes care of business against Joseph Diaz in December.
And that's going to be not no easy task either.
No, it's not. And if Teofimo takes care of George Kambosos in NYC, which is also in November. November is going to have a lot of deck fights, I'm telling you. But if Teofimo takes care of Kambosos, and if Haney takes care of Diaz in December 2022, Teofimo and Haney has got to happen. It's got to. Now, switching to the National Football League, because we can do a whole dang freaking show about boxing all day if we want to, but we'll save that for two special guests. But going over week 7 of the NFL, starting with a Thursday night game between the Browns and the Broncos.
Ooh.
The Browns had no Baker Mayfield.
Ooh.
The Browns had no Nick Chubb.
Ooh.
The Browns had no Kareem Hunt.
Well, who's the quarterback? Tell the quarterback's name.
So, Case Keenum.
Oh!
Yes. That Case Keenum that had the Minneapolis Miracle against the Saints, which he was his offensive coordinator, the only current head coach of the Browns, Kevin Stefanski, but I mean, that's his backup. So you're thinking, how in the heck are the Browns going to do anything against the Broncos? Which now the Broncos once upon a time. The Broncos once upon a time started 3-0 and now lost their last 4. But with that said, the Ernest Justin said, "Hold my beer and give me the ball." And first off, he's got a fan in me because just this story alone.
Yes.
How he just begged NFL teams just to watch his tape for a tryout.
Yeah.
He's got a lifelong fan of me because that's just a tremendous
Same
story.
Here.
But the man just went to town. And I say went to town, we're talking about 22 carries for $146, averaging 6.6 yards a carry. Have yourself a night, young man, as the Browns beat the Broncos 17-14. The Packers, everybody was saying the sky is falling after the Packers lost in week 1 to the Saints. And Mr. Rodgers once again said, without saying it, RELAX, relax. They go to 6-1. They beat the Packers, or they beat the team with no mascot 24-10, as you saw. Well, I don't know what they were back in the 50s, but yeah.
Lot of green.
That was a lot of green. And is perhaps, well, we've always said the Super Bowl hangover is real. It happened to my team last season, and it is happening to the defending AFC champion, the Chiefs. They get thrashed by the Titans, and of course that makes this Raider fan very happy. They get thrashed 27-3, and it has gone bad for the Dolphins. They have lost 6 in a row. The Falcons have won 3 of their last 4.
Mighty Ice
finds a way. Falcons are 3-4, or they're 3-4. They beat the Dolphins 30-28. You know, the Jets will have better days, but yesterday it was all Patriots. They beat the Jets.
You know the hoodie don't like the Jets. Anytime he sees the Jets, and I hate to say this to our loyal subscriber who is a Jets fan.
Yes.
Sorry, but the hoodie don't mess around when he sees the Jets. All he does is just.
He is still their daddy. They put up a 50 burger on the Jets, 54-13, and unfortunately for the Jets, Zach Wilson will be out 2 to 4 weeks with a knee injury, which is unfortunate. For most of the game, it was a baseball score, but the Giants eventually pulled away to beat the Panthers 25-3. But perhaps the most impressive win of the day goes. Raise your hand if you have the Cincinnati Bengals being 5-1, because I dang sure did not.
5-2.
Oh, pardon me, 5-2. But
remember, it was one point they said that wide receiver out of LSU couldn't catch a cold.
Well,
201 yards said something different.
Jamar Chase is making fans forget about one AJ Green, and him
and my fantasy. So keep on, young man, keep on.
So him and Mr. Burrow are rekindling that nice, wonderful friendship they had in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh yes.
As the Ravens, after looking so good against the Chargers the week before, the Bengals go into the big crab cake in Baltimore, Maryland, and hang up a 40 burger and thrash the Ravens 41-17, which now puts, yes, folks, it puts the Cincinnati Bengals in first place in the AFC North.
In all of AFC.
That they're currently the number one seed.
The number one seed in
if the
all of
season
AFC.
ends today, the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC would go through the jungle of Paul Brown's Stadium in Cincinnati. Crazy times that are in the NFL.
Yeah, that's why we play the game.
Also, a homecoming of sorts. The two quarterbacks that got swapped for in trades met each other. But first off things,
the Lions, the best game of the day.
The Lions gave the Rams everything they could handle. But at the end, Matt Stafford just found a way. And dadgummit, Cooper Kupp, thank you for dang near 40 points in fantasy.
Bring it.
Thank you very much.
Continue.
Rams beat the Lions 28-19. The Cardinals got off to a slow start, but eventually pulled away and beat the Texans 31-5. And as much as sometimes we can't stand them because they slurp them too much, but to throw 600 touchdown passes in a career, I don't care who you are. That's an impressive feat, because Dan Marino throwing 400 plus for many years was the standard.
Yeah.
We thought Peyton getting to Founder, like, well, dang, who's going to break that? Then Drew Brees, hold my beer.
Then, I got this.
Then Tom Brady, who is really trying to play until he's 50. Wouldn't surprise me if he surpasses 700 by the time he finally decides to hang them up. But the Buccaneers took care of business. They beat the Chicago Bears 38-3. And now we will get to the moment at hand. I'm going to have him take the floor first. But under Rich Biasica, the Italian stallion, he's 2-0 since becoming the interim head coach of the Raiders. And certainly yesterday was complete silver and black domination. And needless to say, Derek Carr is indeed looking like that old Fresno State Bulldog. The last two games, he has become the gunslinger as the Raiders take care of business and beat the Philadelphia Eagles by a final score of 33-22. So without further ado, I'm going to let Mizzle dissect the Raiders' win against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Raider Nation side of the show. I don't too much know what I can say about that game yesterday. That was great football. I mean, hands down. Garbage time, the score, when it was 30-7, that's not news there. But the Eagles always find a way to make a comeback. So for the Raiders, it's just to stay the course and hold on to that game. That was pretty good. But what can we say about my quarterback, man? Like, even Raider Nation hates Derek Carr. They want Derek Carr gone.
And yesterday he said, hold my freaking Modelo.
31 of 34, over 300 yards, 2 TDs, 1 INT, which I kind of say, whatever. Pinpoint accuracy. I mean, that ball he threw to Foster Monroe. I mean, the ball he threw to Hunter Renfrow. I mean, oh my goodness. But not let's just say Derek Carr. Let's talk about the offense opening up. When is the last time that you've seen a screen pass ran back-to-back in weeks? They ran not one but two screen passes yesterday, and it was successful.
Well, it certainly helps me have a ball. Certainly have a ball player like Kenyon Drake that can catch the ball out the backfield.
Yes.
And catch on the screenplay.
Yes.
And he ran better. Josh
Yes.
Jacobs, before he left the game with a chest injury, was certainly running the ball better.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But let's talk about Henry Ruggs as well. I mean, the young man is coming into his own. I mean, he was running routes against one of the top best corners in the NFL in big play Slay.
Oh yeah, Darius Slay is a tremendous cornerback, and he's been one of the best in the league for a long time. And so Henry Ruggs was certainly, he respected him, but certainly was not afraid of him, and it showed yesterday.
Yeah, and let's also talk about that the Raiders played this game without our top tight end Darren Waller, who is my favorite Raider right now. You know, and for them to do that was spectacular. And the defense is coming along. That defense is coming up. Did you see the Palomata 2.0 play by my man Max Crosby, the Condor? Did you see my man jump over the line?
Not only that, number 91 had a buffet yesterday.
Oh, he was in the backfield causing whole kinds of havoc. But this is what happened the year, if anybody can remember, if you're a historian of the sports, this is the same thing after we traded John Gruden, where that dude, I was going to say something out of line, but I'm just going to call him that dude who sabotaged the year. They played well until they got to the Super Bowl. That team came together. You saw the playbook open up. It was in Rich Gannon's hands, and Rich Gannon took that team to the Super Bowl. Damn. Yet again, John Gruden comes to the Raiders. He leaves again.
But this time by his own fault.
Yes.
Not being traded.
Well, it was his fault that he left the first time because he wanted to go above Al Davis.
Which, if you know, you don't go above Al because the shield is Al and Al is the shield. But that's another story for another time.
Only the first and only coach to get traded in the NFL. That says something. That's Al said, brother, I don't care how much you won, what you did for this organization, but you ain't above me, bruh. But anyway, that's another story. But now Gruden leaves again. We have a gunslinger, Derek Carr. Go out there and play like Fresno State. I'll call the play, but guess what? If you don't like it, I trust that you're going to put us in the right situation. They're having fun out there. You can see.
Well, certainly for one thing, certainly Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator, has certainly I won't say dummied down the playbook, but I'll say that he's
simplified it.
He's simplified it to a degree where, okay, I know he runs good. I know these stuff work. Let's stick to this. Almost kind of like Hugh Jackson. What plays do you like? Okay, we'll go with that. Something similar to that nature.
And that's why Hugh should never got fired, because you know why? Because the way this league is going, I know back in the day, you tell your players to play what I tell you. We drafted you. I am your coach. You do this. That's that old school mentality type of football, how the league was back then. The way the league now is, you have to put your players in the position that works for them. It's not saying that the players are not adjusting, but if you want all 11 players to be on the same unit, you got to put them in the position that works for them, okay? Especially the rookie, Leatherwood. He was playing right tackle. Wasn't panning out. Now we move him to right guard. It's panning out because we're putting him in his strengths, not what we want him to do. So that's what it is. As you can see now, we're doing more, putting Drake running out the backfield, more like little counters, and he's not really an inside runner. That's what we got Jacobs for. Jacob is our bruiser.
But Drake did have some nice runs going on the inside.
Well, because you know why? Because I guess when you create a hole, me and you can run through it. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Declan can run through them holes. You know, so when you get that, that's what happens. But it's just that it seems that this team is playing together. Derek Carr is the voice. Gruden was the voice of the team because, you know, he wants to be above the shield. Now it ain't about who's above the shield. It's all about a unit. There's everybody's taking credit and accountability from themselves. And when you put that together and you have good young talent and got coaches who want to coach and players who want to play, you get success. I always told you, I want Raiders. I want players who want to be here, not to come here and take Al Davis's money. Players. Now we got good character and we got players who want to be here. Brother, these rookies went out there. I probably figure that anybody that gets drafted with their first team, they'll go get the tattoo of their team that drafted them. Okay, but it's rare that you see that. These young men are, I don't know, there's something different about this team. It's almost like the 2016 year before Derek Carr broke the ankle. And I was nervous yesterday as we were talking. You asked me, is it time to put in Mariota? Yes. The defense is playing good. Let Mariota get run. Let him get his football legs back in because we're going to need Mariota in that RPO down the line. I mean, it's 18 weeks now, so we're going to want to rest Carr. You
got 11 games up in the season, yes.
Yeah, so we're going to need Mariota. That was the perfect opportunity yesterday to let Mariota get some run. But I'm not the coach. I trust what they're doing. But I'm happy with the direction they're going. And
you look at it this way, and I guess this is one benefit of the Raiders staff. You have 3 guys on that staff that have been former head coaches. So there is a calming presence when you got 3 guys that have been former head coaches in Tom Cable, in Ron Marinelli, and Gus Bradley. And as you and I were going back and forth when we watched the game yesterday, I kept saying that it kind of reminds me of the way the team played when Tom Cable was the head coach, because as I said, those particular teams, I mean, they didn't necessarily have the talent-wise, but that team fought hard and played for Tom Cable when he was the head coach. Yeah. And I think they're doing the same thing for Biasica and showing, but also at the same time, Rich is letting the coaches do his job, and he's just saying what he needs to say, and he's getting out the way, and he's letting the coaches coach up their scheme. Yeah. So now you go to the bye week, you come off, get healthy, and I know they'll be focused per se, because now there's no distractions. They will have their full focus on the Giants going to East Rutherford. Then you come home for a Sunday night game against the Chiefs. Or is it Sunday night or Monday night? I know it's a primetime game.
Oh, it's Sunday night football.
It's a primetime game against the Raiders inside the Owl. And given that the Chiefs are reeling and struggling,
I expect a dogfight because it's an AFC West game. And number one, for some odd reason, I just see the Chiefs getting it right. But I see us playing a better structured game, because if you want to get technical, we should have swept the Chiefs last year.
Yeah. I mean, out of all the teams the Chiefs played in round to them going to the Super Bowl before they lost to Tampa Bay, the Raiders and the Chargers gave the Chiefs the most fits. Now you can expect that because, of course, you see them 2 times a year being long time AFL/AFC West division rivals. So rightfully so, a division opponent should be the one that gives them the most fits because you see them twice in a season. But, I mean, the Raiders were the last team to go into KC and hang up a 40-burger in Arrowhead, which is something you hardly do because, as we know, Arrowhead is one of the toughest places to play and win a game. It's been that way certainly for the last 3 decades, certainly since we've been watching football as kids. Yeah. As we are now approaching soon the 40-40 club, me before you, but that's another story. But
don't be throwing out my age like that.
I didn't say we were aging. I just said we're nearing the 40-40 club. Doesn't mean we look like we're freaking 40. No. But to just top back on what Derek Carr did, his 31 completions went to 9 different targets. But I think that 43-yard catch and pass to Zay Jones, I think got him comfortable.
Yeah.
And he just went to work right after that because it was kind of a slow start, but then he finds Zay Jones on that 43-yard bomb on that 3rd and 15. And I'm like, okay, he's come alive because under Gruden, he would have not done that.
Check down.
Would have been a check down. Now it's like, okay, I'm gonna throw it up. Go ahead and get it, young man.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, as Bill Parcells says, you are what your record is, and I think what's even more impressive about the Raiders' 5-2 record, the conference record, their AFC conference record is 4-1. That's impressive. And now at the moment, they're once again back ahead in the AFC West.
And they're number 2.
And they're the number 2 seed
in
the whole AFC. So there's a lot of good things going on with the Silver and Black. And if you are a member of Raider Nation, you really should be excited and get behind this team because they are, as we always like to say from one of our favorite quotes from one of our favorite movies all the time, starting to come together, Pepper. Starting to come together.
I look like a team. All right. Now, we didn't talk about the good old Las Vegas Raiders. Now, sir, can you give us your passion about what we saw on Sunday Night Football in a monsoon of a weather of a game, which I told you was like, that's perfect football. Like, if you love football, that's damn good weather to play football, and that's wonderful. They did what they were supposed to do, but why did they? Never mind. You go ahead.
First and foremost, God bless those fans that actually went there to sit in that monsoon and getting soaked wet, and hopefully they all got home safe and didn't have a scratch, because that's a, if you've ever driven in weather like that, that is not fun weather to drive in at all.
No.
So for those that went and braved those elements, God bless them.
Yeah.
First off, kudos to Frank Reich and the Indianapolis Colts. They did what they were supposed to do and made the plays necessary to win the game. Then there's my team, who I've loved since 1986, since I was 3 years old. So most of my childhood was a lot of glory. My teen years was consistently. Since I've become an adult, it's mostly been very, very, very crappy football, with the exception of that little glimpse of life with Harbaugh, and then that one magical ride with 2019. But for the most part, since I've become an adult, rooting for this team is almost like how we felt for most of our childhood being Warriors fans until they drafted Wardell Stephen Curry II. It seemed like for the first time since he's been the head coach of the 49ers, it actually seemed like Kyle Shanahan got humbled because he didn't have an answer. Because normally he has answers for everything else. But it seemed like for the first time, finally, he really didn't know what the heck to say.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really, Kyle? Now you want to act like your ego is hurting? Well, it's because of your ego that this team is in the predicament that it's in the first place.
Yeah.
Darius Leonard, who is a fantastic all-pro linebacker, one of the best linebackers in football. He was quoted and to saying, I am glad Shanahan went away from what was working after that first drive. Saying every time they lose. What do I keep saying? Why is certain so-and-so not touching the football when they couldn't stop it all game long?
Well, it goes to your Super Bowls.
Do I need to go back to Super Bowl 54?
Do we need to go back as far as when he was with the Atlanta Falcons?
He only gets half the blame because Dan Quinn was the head coach.
Well,
as far as offensive play calling,
I'll give you
that's
I'll give
all
you
on
that.
him.
I'll give you that.
But Dan Quinn was the head coach. But Shanahan gets partial blame from going away from what's working. Super Bowl 54.
Deebo Samuel
Couldn't stop the jet sweep with Deebo Samuel. The misdirection with him. Seemed like Raheem Mostert was on the verge of busting a big one every time he got the goddamn ball.
Wasn't he averaging about 6 yards a carry?
He was at 5 yards.
Damn near 5'5", damn near 5'5" at least.
Stop touching the ball. Okay. Last night, Elijah Mitchell, the rookie from Lafayette, Louisiana, 6th-round draft pick, shouldn't even be starting. But because Raheem Mostert, I love Raheem Mostert, but damn it, Raheem, you're soft to Charmin. What do we always say? Your best ability is availability.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been available. Again, I love Raheem Mostert, but you're not available. Now he's out for the season. I love Jeff Wilson Jr. I love the way he runs hard. But again, you haven't played it down this year. Trey Sermon, who was a baller at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's in the Shanahan doghouse like Brandon Ayuk is. And this Shanahan
I don't even know why Ayuk's in the doghouse. Why is he in the doghouse?
I don't know. But it seems like once they get in the doghouse, they don't get the chance to get out of it. But back to Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell, 18 carries, 107 yards, averaging 5.9 yards a carry. That is almost yards.
First half, right? On the first half, right? Was that all
most of it in the first half? Most of it in the first half, and half of it on one drive. After the first drive, he had dang near 70 yards because they methodically went down the field with misdirections and running the ball with a zone scheme, and Mitchell found pay dirt. And again, you stop giving him the ball. Why? The 2 drives that they scored touchdowns on, and this is what really irritates me about this team. The 2 drives that they scored on, they show you why they certainly have the potential to perhaps be a good team, but yet they keep running away from it. Okay. Again, anyone that has studied the West Coast offense, from, of course, the genius, the late great Bill Walsh, one of the greatest of all time to do it, one of the best schemers to do it.
Fantastic.
What has always been a staple of the West Coast offense? The damn bootleg. See Aaron Rodgers still doing it in Green Bay, and they still can't stop it. Even 5,475-year-old Tom Brady still runs the bootleg, and they still seem not to be able to stop it.
Does he trust Jimmy to run the bootleg? It's the question.
Well, here's the thing. The drive that they scored to get within 2 points before they failed the 2-point conversion, they ran misdirection. They ran the bootleg. And Deebo Samuel just happens to be open. Coincidence? I think not. Okay. The touchdown pass that Trey Lance had in the preseason to Trent Sherfield against the Chiefs. What was it? It was a bootleg. And now here's my thing. Okay. I can name you the 49ers' 5 best players, and only 2 of them are on offense. One is on IR. His name is George Kittle, who every time he seems to be throwing the ball, he's put in a position to get his legs broken because they can't place the ball to him right. The other guy is Deebo Samuel. Okay. The other guys are on defense, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and Dre Greenlaw, who just unfortunately happens to be injured. But I will say Azeez Al-Shire had himself a game last night. He played tremendously last night.
Yeah.
So I got nothing but good things for Azeez Al-Shire. He played a fantastic game.
Oh.
But again, no disrespect to Mohamed Sanu. He's had a fantastic career, but I've seen enough. I
don't know why Shanahan hold on to him. It's like I know that it's the knowledge, but it's like Richard Sherman. You know, like why do you Why do you keep bringing him around? He can't chase these young men. Devontae Smith killed him the other day. I mean, in that one game. Yeah, sometimes you just
okay. I've asked for Jawan Jennings to get some play time. I'm asking for Trent Sherfield to get some playing time. Okay. They know Kittle's out. Okay. They know you have a man crush on Deebo Samuel. Guess what? They're going to double and triple team him. To which, again, I don't understand why you were throwing in a double triple team coverage. Deebo has been dynamite. Deebo has been balling all season long. He had 7 catches for 100 yards last night and a touchdown. Deebo Samuel has been fantastic. But you need to get your other players involved.
Yeah.
Give me Jawan Jennings involved. Give me some more Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk can stretch the field with his speed.
Yeah.
He can go get it. Jawan Jennings is 6'3", 6'4". He can be a big target for you. Just give him a shot.
That could be your Ruggs and Edwards, like how we got it going. That's Ayuk is not bad.
No, he's not. But because he's so mentally fragile, because Shanahan wants to keep him in the doghouse, it's like you can't utilize his full potential and his full talent.
Right.
And now the question is going to, well, should they go back to Trey Lance because Shanahan doesn't want to bongo the quarterback? And I know Garoppolo has a winning record when he starts and the record when he's not there. Here's the thing. Jimmy is limited. We all know this. Okay. But what was working for Garoppolo as an effective passer was the running game, the misdirection, and play action. But then when you go away from that, I'm just like, you keep going away from what works. And I get it because I am a guy that overanalyzes everything. I'm a perfect example of that. So I get it. I understand it. But Kyle Shanahan, I think, is starting to overanalyze everything. It's like, dude, go with what works. As I've always said, if there's things that are working, you go to any Hall of Fame coach that's in the Hall of Fame right now in Canton, Ohio. If they see something working, do you think they're going to deviate from that?
No.
The answer is no. Okay. If Jimmy Johnson's coaching the Cowboys and he says, well, Emmett is getting me yards, do you think he's going to say, hey, Troy, just let's throw the ball now? No. It's like, I'm giving the ball to 22. See if you can stop it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that he tries to outsmart things. Like, okay, they saw it. They'll know it's coming. Let's try to confuse them. Give them the same formation, but do something different. You know, I mean, that's pretty much what coaches want to do. But the term that I like to use, if it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
Try to fix it. I mean, the running game, he was killing, like you said, the first drive, he almost had 70 yards by himself. And you should have been running the ball the whole game anyway, because the weather permits you to run, because you're not really going to be throwing the ball, because as you saw the game should have really been over on that one play that Colt player dropped. Was it Taylor that dropped that? He was butt naked open.
It was Naheem Hines, and Naheem Hines had a whole bunch of daylight.
Well, he could have walked in and made a sandwich.
Yes.
He could have, but you see the elements. I think he took his eyes off the ball, number 1, 2, and it was a little slippery. But I was like, "Ooh, that was," because I said that should have been the game right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I've been watching this story with you guys since Harbaugh was in the Super Bowl, and you guys ran that same play 4 times. When you should have ran Gore, or find Vernon Davis. But we're not going to go back there, because that's like telling me that I wasn't the fumble in New England. We can talk about that all day. But I don't know what's wrong with your coach, man. Is he in the? I wouldn't say is he in the hot seat.
He should be. Him and Lynch should be in the hot seat. And it was so poetic, and it was so appropriate. That would be DeForest Buckner to sack Garoppolo on the last play of the game. It was appropriate. It was poetic. As another slap to the face of, why do we just give him away like Eddie DeBartolo gave away Charles Haley to the Cowboys after the 91 season, which, as I've said for years, Us trading Charles Haley to the Cowboys was the final piece for the Cowboys dynasty of the 90s when they won 3 and 4 years. And any real 49er faithful fan will say that. All right.
Yeah.
So to close out, we will get in a little World Series preview. But of course, us Giants fans are happy because it will not be the Dodgers, which goes to show you that repeating in baseball as a World Series champion is hard. And as I said,
you got to play a full season to say you repeated. Okay, I don't give a damn that
that's a whole different story. I agree with you, but of course, in the record books, in the annals, they're going to recognize them as the champion last season. But it just goes to show you. The real
thing with us, bruh, if the Giants would have won that championship last year, we would be saying the same thing. There's an asterisk on their championship. I don't understand how when we talk to these other fans, they'd be like, well, what if the Giants would have won it? Bruh, yeah, no, I'd have called them half-ass champions too. Or if the Warriors or Sixers would have won that Disneyland championship, I'd have been calling their asses bubble champs too. Just because I talk about your team, look, whatever. Win 162 games, I will respect your franchise. But that also goes to show you can cash out all the damn money you want to. You can't win it. You can't win it.
Well, kudos to the Atlanta Braves. Kudos to the Houston Astros.
Oh, Dusty Baker. I really don't care. I have a pull. My uncle's a Braves fan, and I want Dusty to win it. So
I don't have a dog in the race, as my co-host has said. But again, being the fact that Dusty was a Giant for so many years, was the Giants manager for so many years, there is a soft spot for Dusty Baker, and we want Dusty to get that elusive ring as a manager. He's won one as a player, but to get that one as a manager would put him in a real distinct company. Only Tony La Russa.
Yeah.
Only
Bochy, right?
No, I'm talking about guys that have won a World Series of both things. Only him and Sparky Anderson are the only two that have won World Series as a National League manager and American League manager. Dusty Baker would be the third one to do that. That would put him in some real distinctive company.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, it'll be an intriguing series. I know a lot of people still don't want to like the Astros for what happened in 2015, but the Astros are a good team.
This is Dusty Baker's team. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like we said.
Well, Dusty has
every team still size. It's baseball. You're throwing out this. That's why you do different things. That's why they gang members out there, man. Yeah.
But Dusty indeed has put his stamp on this team.
Oh, yeah, it's a clean ran organization.
And if you've followed Dusty Baker throughout his whole managerial career, Dusty has always been a player's player, and he has always gone to bat for his players. There's not one player that has played for him that I've come across that has not one bad thing to say about Dusty Baker. He is a tremendous baseball man. He is a man's man, and I know for him, it's emotional because Dusty Baker's career as a player started with the Atlanta Braves. His first team was the Braves.
Yeah.
And you know, if you've known Dusty and been around Dusty, he has always spoke in high regard of his love for the late great Hank Aaron, which I'm sure Mr. Aaron, wherever he was up there, was smiling down on Saturday night when the Braves clinched the pennant. So I know for Dusty, it's coming full circle because this is the team that he started his baseball life in as a Brave. So I'm sure it'll mean that much more to him.
Yeah.
If the Astros can win it for Dusty.
For sure.
I really don't have a prediction. Like I said, I'm rooting for Dusty.
Give me 7.
I'm okay with
7.
either team winning.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. Give me a 7 games.
7 games.
I'm getting out of the way.
I would love 7 games.
That has been another edition of the Mizzle and Dub Show. As the Raiders have the week off, as they will prepare for
East Rutherford
Giants in East Rutherford.
Yes.
A unique situation for me because we're going to play the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field, and here comes the obvious question: is it going to be Garoppolo? Is it going to be Trey Lance? My main concern is can we stop Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith? That's my big concern.
It's
And
in Soldier Field.
It's at Soldier Field in Chicago. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Justin Fields has been struggling, but
hey, wait! I have nothing to say because Justin Fields beat my team. Hey. But I'm not gonna make the excuses that we were in turmoil then, because you still got to suit up and go play the game.
Still got to play the game. You're exactly right.
But anyway, it's normally I'm sitting here smiling and like pointing fingers at the screen at your team, but I got a little. You know what? No, I don't.
No, you don't. I'm about to say there is a reason why you're wearing that particular shirt that has my favorite.
America, I love this shit. My timeline on Facebook has been the quietest of it all. They try to give me little this, that, and the third, but all I can say is 5-2, and I rest my case. You know I love you, brother.
I love you for eternity. But hopefully, with the Devontae Adams situation, hopefully will not take away from.
Thank you for reminding me that, because I got to set up my fantasy now. I got to go.
Yeah. We were looking forward to this game between the Cardinals and the Packers.
I still think A-Rob gives them a hell of a game.
Well, normally for whatever reason, when these two teams get together, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah. I'll be glued to the TV for sure.
Two of the best playoff games I've ever seen that has not involved my team was between the Cardinals and the Packers. I go back to the 2009 wildcard game. That was just insane.
Yeah.
Then the 2015 divisional game where Larry Fitzgerald almost took it the distance as Carson Palmer, for the first time and only time in his life, showed that he could be mobile.
Right.
And almost threw a game-ending pick six on that same play, mind.
Oh, well, that's his MO. He's the game gets too big for Carson Palmer, but near and there. But
when these two teams get together,
you
normally see some kind of fireworks.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals remain as the lone unbeaten team. So the 72 Dolphins are still waiting to pop their champagne. And the Packers, who, again, they said that the sky was falling after week one. Aaron Rodgers said, hold my beer. I'm going to go get a State Farm discount and relax. I got this.
Hey, I still own this division.
Yes. I still own you, as you said to the Bears at Soldier Field. That's going to be a very intriguing matchup. Of course, being that my team's in last place, I really want the Cardinals to lose, but my team right now really needs a prayer to even be considered to get back into the whole thick of the playoff race. But this possibly could be another playoff preview with these two teams.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a football fan, you might want to be glued to this game on Thursday.
Most definitely.
And it will have the whole Thursday stage to itself, because that's a travel day for the World Series, because the World Series will start on Tuesday. So Thursday night will have the whole spectacle to itself, and that should be a very, very
I'll be glued for sure.
Intriguing game.
Yeah.
All right. This has been another edition of the Mizzle Dub Show. He is Mizzle. I am Dub. We may have a special guest for the next show. You never know. Only thing we can say is stay tuned. Again, subscribe to our YouTube page. Please share along with your friends. We thank you for watching this show. And of course, as always, we will always strive to do better, because that's just what we do. And yes, he's going to point to the chalkboard. And he's going to just go ahead and give him the chant for good old time's sake, because I know you want to do it. Go ahead. Send us off. Go ahead. He's on one right now. But until the next show, we say so long and good night, America.
And Canada.
And Canada, for sure.